Welcome to this abs and lower body focused workout today. All you will need is a Pilates ball or a pillow, maybe a block for squeezing, and a space or a mat to work out on. Let's get started with a warm-up. Make your way to the top of the mat with your feet hip distance apart and just take a couple of breaths. We're just going to ground into the space before we move today. Just allowing the day to drift away. Bringing your arms now up over your head, leaning back slightly and then waterfalling down over your legs. Taking your right leg as far back as you can and bringing your knee to the floor. Bringing your arms back slightly, and we're just going to do a rocking sensation just to bring a little bit of movement into our hips before we get started today. And on your third rock back, drawing your arms up and forward, extending them straight up to the sky, tucking the lower ribs in and extending the back, moving your arms back and around now to the floor and just coming back into a standing position. Moving your arms up overhead and waterfalling down over your arms. Taking your left leg back now as far as you can, dropping your knee to the floor and again extending your right leg back and forward. Just bringing a slight stretch and space into the hips. Sweeping your arms up overhead, extending them, extending your back up straight and lifting and extending back just to bring a little space into the chest. Waterfalling your arms back round down to your feet and then stepping forward. Unrolling and unraveling up into standing position, ready to start the workout. Grabbing your Pilates ball or something you are going to squeeze. If you don't have anything here, I would suggest just hovering your foot and rolling your knee parallel against the floor. However, if you do have a ball, place it underneath your right ankle and come into a plank position. Extending your leg back now and drawing your knee up into your chest. So the position here, we are holding our neck back slightly. Our hands are slightly forward in position to our shoulders. And when our leg goes back, we are extending and pushing our toes into the floor. Next, when you bring your knee in, I want you to draw your nose to the tip of your knee, creating a slight hike. So again, you are extending your leg back, pushing your toes into the floor, creating this resistance with the floor. And when you bring your knee in, we are bringing our nose to our knee. Staying with the knee in now, we are creating a pike. So just lowering and lifting the knee to the ground and to the knee, allowing the foot to just rest on the ball with very, very slight pressure on it. If you don't have a ball, you are just hovering the leg and hovering the ankle here in space. Pulling the stomach muscles in, just creating a support for the lower back and pushing the ground away with all the points of contact. We're just doing tiny little lifts now, keeping the top of the body in a plank position. And the idea here is that everything touching the floor, you push away. Allowing your knees to come to the floor and just grabbing the ball with your left hand now. Swiveling your body round to a side position so that your right knee is on the floor and extending your left arm with the ball overhead. Just lifting and lowering the arm and the ball with the foot and the leg together. Creating this concertinaing on the obliques of the left side. Here now we're going to move to a little variation which includes lifting and lowering the arm and the leg simultaneously away from the floor and creating this pike in front of the body, touching the toes and the ball together, and then moving to little pulses with the foot before we switch sides. If you found that your core was on vacation during this workout, it's a great idea just to almost tuck and hold the stomach muscles in just slightly to really create this support for the lower back so that we're not putting any pressure in the lower back that could create pain. Just switching sides now and putting the ball under the left ankle this time, or hovering your foot in space. Again, coming back to a plank position and extending the left leg back, pressing the toes into the ground and creating this activation down the leg and through the entire body. The hands and everything touching the floor should be creating a pressure towards the floor. And when you do this, you can feel your entire body light up. Bringing the knee now in, allowing the nose to meet the knee. So tucking the belly under slightly and creating this curved position, this pike. Keeping your knee in now and allowing the pike to extend up and back, bringing your nose to meet your knee and allowing your knee to touch and lift off the floor. Don't hold your breath here. Really make sure that you are breathing with the movement. So breathing out as you lift and breathing in as your head comes forward. Creating a little lifting action now, just keeping your upper body straight and in the plank position, lifting and lowering the knee off the floor. And then grabbing the ball with your right hand this time, swiveling to the right and lifting your right leg up and your arm overhead with the ball. Lifting and lowering the arm and the leg simultaneously, working the full right side of the body here and the obliques as well as the glutes, and just lifting and lowering overhead. Moving now to that forward pike position where we touch the toes and the arm with the ball in front of us. A little combination of lifting and lowering away from the floor and then touching the ball and the toes in front of the head. Moving to little lifts now with the foot. And then coming to a rested position, maybe giving your glutes a little bit of a tap out before we move to the next workout. Turning around onto your back now and placing the ball just between your shoulder blades. I wouldn't place it any lower because it can place some added pressure onto the back. Just find a comfortable position for you, bringing the arms behind your head and allowing your elbows to fall outwards, keeping your toes pointed and keeping the activation through the legs. And we're just going to find little crunches here, just extending back over the ball slightly, allowing your ribs to lift and then allowing your ribs to close down towards your hip bones as you lift up. Keeping the eyes up to the sky, there's no need to look at your toes, and keeping the elbows outwards here. Then we're going to find tiny little crunches at the top. So at the top point of contraction, we're just lifting and lowering an inch. Lifting and lowering in that tiny point of contraction. Bringing the right leg up now to meet the top of the crunch, keeping the toes pointed. You can always place your arm, your right arm on the floor here for more support. Really crunching at the top and feeling that contraction. Holding your body now at the top of the contraction and twisting your left side body and your arm towards your knee. Here we're aiming to reach our shoulder to our knee, not the elbow. Holding at the top and finding tiny little crunches again at that point of contraction. Maybe bringing a smile to your face before bringing the leg back down. Finding some bicycles here just to create that flow and ease back through the body before we move to the other side. Coming back to the original position, maybe taking a pause here, allowing yourself to just rest over the ball and release those ab muscles before we move to the other side. Finding a crunch here again, allowing the elbows just to fall out to the side and keeping both legs down and pointed toes. Finding tiny lifts now at the top point of contraction, really bringing the belly button in towards the spine here. Maybe bringing the arm down to the side for more stability, and then bringing the left leg up now to meet the chest. Keeping the toes pointed and allowing for activation down through the leg. Before we're going to keep the knee in and twist our right side body towards our left knee. Again, we are bringing our right shoulder towards our knee and allowing our head and our neck to stay back. So allowing there to be space in the back of the neck. Moving to little crunches, bringing the shoulder again towards the knee, and then allowing the leg to come back down and take a little stretch here before we move to bicycles. So bringing your chest up into a crunch position, maybe hovering your arms, testing your stability, and just pedaling the legs in towards the chest and out. You can vary the speeds, and then bringing your knees in and giving yourself a little hug towards the end. Making your way up to your feet now, placing your feet at hip distance apart and bringing the ball or something to squeeze in between your hands here. Allowing yourself to drop down into a squat position. So knees should be behind your toes, your tailbone should be reaching back towards the floor, and your neck and your spine should be in one level. So your eyes should be about 2 feet in front of your body. Staying down now into squat pulses, keeping both feet on the floor, allowing your weight to be back in your heels. Taking your attention on your breath and really breathing into the movement. We're going to start raising the ankles now, so coming up onto the tiptoes, starting with the right foot, just bringing the heel up and down, still keeping the pulses in the squats, just alternating heels. We're going to move to a different speed now and just really pedaling through the heels, lifting and lowering the heels with each squat dip. Still keeping pressure through the arms and keeping a little press in the chest. Keeping the right ankle up now and just pulsing the squats. Allowing your body weight to be in the center, not swaying to the left side. Standing up and allowing your body to just flush that energy through. We're just going to do full squats here. Keeping your body weight back and then just lifting the left heel. And again, pulsing the squats here, keeping your body weight in the center, making sure that your right hip here doesn't pop out to the side. Keeping a little pressure in the chest against the ball, allowing your neck to be extended back and your spine straight. Bringing the ball now between your knees, clasping your hands into a prayer position and just squatting again. Keeping a little pressure now in the inner thighs by bringing your knees in as you squat down. And again, we're going to move to pedaling out the ankles, starting with the right, lifting and lowering your heels here, changing the different speeds, maybe slowing down. And your hands and arms can be in any position that feels comfortable to you. Keeping the right ankle up and just pulsing now, as well as clasping the knees in for your inner thighs. And then moving to the left side, keeping the left ankle up, making sure that your body weight is in the center, and each dip you clasp the knees in, working the inner thighs at the same time. and then grabbing the ball, giving your legs maybe a little shake out before we move to the next position. Making your way now down onto all fours and using the ball to place behind your right knee pocket. If you don't have a ball, then just keep your knee bent. It will work the muscles just the same. Bringing the upper part of your body into a plank position and pulling the right heel in towards your booty. Lifting the leg up now, so bringing your knee to meet your knee and then lifting the entire leg up towards the sky, keeping the toes pointed, keeping the pressure in your hands and allowing your hands to push forward slightly. And every time you lift, you want to brace your belly slightly. So not as if you're doing a full crunch, but enough resistance there that you're not going to arch your lower back. We really want to keep a neutral position in our back and our spine and the back of our neck. Now we're going to keep our leg up. We're going to flex our toes and create a pressing. So we're going to do a little hamstring curl here with tiny little presses. Only hold your leg up as comfortable as it feels on your hip flexors. Bringing your knee back down now to meet the other knee, and we're just going to revert back to the leg lifts. Going straight up and back here. We're not going out to the side. Your leg and your hip are moving directly backwards towards the back of the room. We're now going to angle our knee out slightly. So we're going to bring our knee towards our right elbow, take it backwards, and then bring your knee down directly parallel to meet the other knee. So we're doing a V position here. So as your leg comes out to meet your tricep, it is in an outwards position. As it goes backwards, it's then in a parallel position to the floor. Now moving down onto your elbow, so placing the left elbow on the floor and keeping the right palm and arm outwards, keeping the pressure and the weight of the body still in a central position. We're not leaning on either hand more than the other. Bringing the knee outwards now to the side, so we're lifting and lowering towards the right side, keeping the knee in a 90-degree angle. We're now going to do an L position, so we're going to lift and lower to the side and then bringing the knee backwards right in line with the glutes and the body. Squeezing at the top, allowing pressure to come into the glutes, allowing a squeeze there, keeping a slight pressure on the ball so that we're working the hamstrings as well as the glutes here. Again, if you don't have a ball, just keeping your heel back to your booty. And then on your next lift, holding your leg backwards and just doing a couple of pulses with your leg back. Bringing your leg down now and removing the ball from behind the knee. I'm going to lie on my left side and placing the ball back behind the knee. You could almost just leave the ball here. I just fancied a little break. And we're going to come into a pretzel position. So the left knee is directly in line with the front of the mat. Your right knee is back slightly and your right arm is overhead, extending your body and your underside body away from the floor. And we're just going to keep our right toes on the floor and open and close our hip to the side. So we're doing this side pretzel shape. Again, pushing everything that's touching the floor away, creating a resistance. You can also come down to lying fully on your left hand side, cradling your head in your arm and keeping the right hand forward and on the floor in front for extra stability. Lifting the entire right leg off the floor now and bringing your knee forward in front of your body and then extending it back in line with your glutes and giving your glutes a little squeeze at the back. Again, keeping slight pressure on the ball and the toes pointed. Keeping the leg back now and squeezing the glutes at the back. Then bringing the knee forward directly on top of the left leg and lifting and lowering to the side. Really squeezing the glutes at the top, making sure that the hips are not rocking backwards and forwards. Stacking the hips on top of each other. and then fully extending the leg long in direct line with the body and lifting and lowering from the hips here and from the glutes. You can also come up onto your shoulders if you find that more comfortable, or popping the ball underneath your left side for more support here. But really focusing on extending the hand and the foot away from each other, creating this length and really lifting through the glutes. Giving yourself a little tap out here before we move to the other side. Making your way to all fours again, and this time we are putting the ball behind the left knee pocket, coming to a plank position with your upper body, making sure that the arms are slightly wider than the shoulders and slightly forward, lifting the left knee up now behind the body, squeezing the glutes at the top and then bringing the knee back to meet the other. Making sure that the ribs are not flaring out, and almost imagine bringing the ribs down to meet the hip points. Keeping a neutral position in the back and a neutral position in the back of the neck. Lifting and lowering the leg and squeezing at the top. Keeping the leg at the top now and flexing the foot, pumping the leg in a hamstring curl. Allowing your gaze to be about 2 handprints in front of your body, and then bringing the knee back down to meet the other knee, flushing through and just lifting and lowering the leg, pointing the toes, squeezing the glutes at the top. And if your belly is on vacation here, just bringing the belly button in towards the spine. Now we're going to move the knee into that V position, so bringing the knee to meet the left tricep, taking the leg fully back in line with the body, and then bringing the knee back down to meet the other knee. Then doing a couple of knee drives here, just bringing the knee to meet the left tricep. Moving down onto your elbow now, so bringing your right elbow to the floor, allowing your left hand to stay out to the side, keeping your body weight in the center, bringing the left knee in to the side and lifting the entire leg up to the side, squeezing the glutes at the top, keeping a slight pressure on the ball and pointed toes. And we're not trying to rock here, so our hips are moving to the side slightly, but our weight should be very much central in the middle, allowing the knee now to come out to the side and then taking the knee back in line with the body, giving the tush a little squeeze at the side and when we move our leg back in line with the body. Keeping the leg back now and pulsing at the top of the contraction. So just moving forward and backwards just slightly, about an inch, keeping the contraction in the glute. Bringing the knees down now and taking the ball out, giving yourself a little bit of a break. And here I'm moving to the opposite side so you can see from the opposite position, but we're moving to that pretzel shape, putting the ball back behind the left knee socket, bringing the right shin to meet the front of the mat, and the left leg is back slightly. Here we are just opening to the side, lifting and lowering the knee, squeezing the tush at the top. Remembering to lift the underside body away from the floor, not creating this hammocking sensation in the body, but lifting away from the floor. You can always come down to your full side, bringing the elbow down for extra stability. Or if your hips feel a pinching sensation. Just lifting and lowering the knee, squeezing the tush at the top. Bringing the leg fully off the floor now and bringing the knee forwards and backwards. Forwards in front of the body and then back behind the body in line with the tush, giving it a squeeze at the back. Keeping the leg back now for some pulses. Remembering to lift everything and push everything into the floor to create some resistance. Bringing the knees fully in line with each other in front of the body and just lifting and lowering to the side. Remembering to lift the underside body away from the floor and extending your shoulders, so not concaving the head onto the shoulder, but more lifting out of the body. Again, coming down to the elbow if that feels more comfortable to you. To me, I do find it much more comfortable to be fully on the floor with my elbow giving me that support. Taking the ball out from behind the left knee socket and just extending the leg fully now. Really pushing the toes away from you, creating that length in the side body, squeezing the tush at the top. And remembering to breathe here, breathe. Little pulses at the top, just really burning out that muscle. And then giving yourself a little moment of gratitude, maybe a little moment in the sun, a little smile, and thanking your body for today's workout. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in a video soon.